Hi, good evening. I'm getting started here this evening and I'm waiting for Bill to give me the thumbs up. All right, Bill, we ready to go? Thank you. Good evening. I hope everybody's having a good evening. It's Wednesday, January 20th. And this evening, we're going to take a look at the Handsomely Suited bundle. Hi, Sonia. Thanks for joining. This is part of the Well Suited suite. It comes with the bundle with the stamp set and the dies, and then there's paper. I love these papers. Hey Barb, nice to see you. And then some twine, some navy and gray. So we're going to take a look at these tonight. These are the stamps. When you first look at these, you think, hey Deborah, you think, okay, completely masculine. But I'm going to show you some ideas that I hope that will show you that it's a little more versatile than that. These dies are really cool. It even has little tiny buttons that give you the texture. And then to make it easier to show you papers, one of my uplines, Lynn Dunn from Stamptastic Designs, she provided these papers for us, and this breaks down the two sides of each of the DSPs. You get 12 sheets, and they're double-sided. Hi, Maureen. Thanks for joining. So, and then these are the coordinating colors: Poppy Parade, Pacific Point, Night of Navy, Cajun Craze, Smoky Slate, Basic Gray, and Black. It's a judge-free zone here, so it's all not straight. We're okay with that. So the first card I'm going to show you is, of course, a very masculine card, very similar to what's in the catalog for an idea. So I'm going to show you how I made this, and I will show you that the colors of my shirts were pre-approved by Bill. He wears pastel colors, so he said this was a good guy jacket. So I'm going to show you how I made this one, only in this case, I am going to do it. This was just some DSP I pulled out that was in the pink that was in my stash. Hey, Nancy. The black here sort of reminded me of a tweed. And Bill actually has a jacket very similar to that I like. So that's why I pulled this one out. So my card is a 4 1/4 by 11 and then scored at that 5 1/2. Now, the other thing I did, I will show you on the inside here. The paper is really nice, Deborah. This said, have a happy Father's Day, handsome. I didn't want the handsome part on it. So when I was doing the stamp, I just took a piece of Post-it note or Post-it note tape. I just put that paper over it, stamped my stamp, took this off. That way when I stamped it, I didn't have the handsome. Because if I send these to my kids, they're handsome, but I don't know, I just didn't want that on there. So you can always take a part of a stamp like that, cover it up so you don't get that. All right, so for my shirt, I took this, another piece that I had from my stash, and I cut it just slightly smaller. And I put it up to the top because that's going to be my shirt under my jacket. And then here is my jacket. I don't know if I can get this to focus on these little buttons and the texture that you get. They are just so adorable. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put this piece down. Okay. Now, I will tell you, if you're going to do a bow tie, don't put a lot of glue down here, or not a bow tie, a regular tie, because you're going to want to tuck it under. But I like to get this piece down first so that I can get that lined up. Then I know where to put my collar for my shirt, because this will, I cut this at the 4 1/4 by 5.5 to match the full front of the card. I didn't want any edge around there. And then this little die, I don't know if you can see the texture on that. That's just this little piece here. And then to make the little hanky in the pocket, I used this piece. So I went ahead and pre-put those on there. So the next thing I'm going to put on here is the shirt collar. Okay, I wanted my suit on here, so I made sure that I got this in the middle. The other thing is you don't really see it real well popping off, so I did bring in my Stampin' Right markers, and I'm just going to use that marker and color the edge of this a little. I just think that gives it some texture and makes that collar pop off the shirt. All right, so we're gonna put a little bit of glue on here. Hopefully I didn't take that out of camera. And then we're just gonna line that up. There we go. Now this one's all right. I could put it all the way down because I decided on this one to do the bow tie. And the bow tie will go over the collar, not under that. I think they're both really cute. And again, I'm going to just glue these straight down. You could use dimensionals. But since I'll be mailing these again, I try to keep the dimensionals to a minimum. All right, so here we are. Now I have these little tiny buttons. There are two ways to do these buttons. I don't know if they're gonna focus. Oh, I think they're on that color. Come on, there we go. You can see that little design. So, like when I did these buttons, what I did before I die cut it, I put some of that double stick tape on the back. It's in the main catalog. But for this one, I'm just going to take the ink that I put in my little tiny bottle, and I'm just going to, oh, I didn't want to do that much. This lets me get a very detailed little drop. There's some air in this. I think we'll just do 5. Come on. And then I'm going to use my pick tool. And I'm just going to pick up my little buttons and plop them down. Just like they were an embellishment of some sort. Just got to make sure they're facing the right way. There you go. And there's our 2 masks. Oh, forgot another part, the lapel of the jacket. So I am going to do the same thing. You'll see that if I just lay this lapel for this jacket on here, you don't really see it much. So again, I decided it needed to have a little bit of color on the edges. Personal preference, if you like it without it, leave it plain. So I'm just going to take a sponge dauber and some black ink. And I'm just going to sponge the edges of this. Give it a little shadow. This is delicate on the corner. You could do, I mean, you could go retro and go 70s and put a different color lapel, or what are those black ties? Sometimes you get the white jacket with the black lapel. All right, so I'm going to take some glue here. Just a tiny dab on the end. And then we're going to put this down. There we go, it lines right up. And then I think that helps it to stand out a little. You could use a marker, you can use a dabber. And there we go, our masculine card. So then I said, I wanted you to think outside of the box. And I thought, why can't I use this to make a feminine card? So I pulled out, I think it was just last week that we worked with the art gallery bundle. And so I pulled that back out again because, again, I loved these papers with the floral. And I thought, okay, I took a piece of this paper and I cut a V in it, just not as deep. And then I used the piece to cut the lapel. Again, it wouldn't have been as deep. And what I did, this was Poppy Parade to match, but I took these stamps from this stamp set. I wanted it to have some texture. So there's just a real subtle Poppy Parade on Poppy Parade. We worked with this acetate paper last week. I put that on there. And then I said, well, it needed something else. Bill and I were sitting here looking at this, and I had from the gold from Forever Greenery in the main catalog, but it's very thin. So we braided it. And then we felt it needed something else. So this was a charm from, I think, last year's main catalog. I just started digging through my stash. So don't forget to look at things that you may have. And this says Made with Love. And so we did that. So we're going to build this card this evening. And this one, I wanted to tuck. So here I decided to do Mossy Meadow instead of the Poppy Parade. I did the same thing for a little texture. I put some leaves on here. And then I glued that on. And then I'm just going to trim this off with the top. Oh, go there. Now, because when I put the chain on here, right, it's going to come around. I really need to pop this up, but this I felt was too thin. So I did cut a second piece that is the 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And on this one, I did round the edges with a corner rounder punch just to give it a little feminine flair. So what I'm going to do, and then here is that acetate again. But I decided I think this has the gold. I thought this side sort of looks silver. So I'm going to use that side in here for the V-neck. To attach this, I'm going to use glue dots. And you would think those glue dots would be right in front of me. Let me see. Up. They were over on my other working surface. So I'm going to put the glue dots on the side. I'm going to glue to the back of my DSP. And I'm just going to put it on the 4 corners here. And then that will stick to this. Oh, come on. There we go. So that's that part. Then for my little imitation necklace here, I'm going to make sure that I have my charm in the middle. Let's see, right there. I'm also going to put a glue dot on it to hold it in place. So I'll just put that on the back of that charm. Come on. Doesn't want to pick it up. Oh. There we go. So I'm just going to set that down there. And then I'm going to take these, bring them up to the back. And I'm going to find my trusty Scotch tape. And I'm just going to put a piece of that on there. Whoop. So you can adjust that where you want it to be. Again, personal preference. No right or wrong. Actually, I meant to do that differently. Let me take that off of there again since it's just taped because of how thin this was. I'm actually going to mount this piece on this card that I did. So it's a little heavier and that acetate sits right against that paper. I got a little ahead of myself. So I'm going to place glue on the card, and then I'm going to come back in with some glue dots to help really with that acetate. So I'm just going to let it pick up. Doesn't want to. Come on. Again, I'm just going to do those 4 corners. Okay. Now, I'm going to mount this. All right, that gives me a little heavier piece to hold that charm on. So, thank you for letting me back up there. All right, so now I'm going to do the same thing. Where did I put the necklace? Oh, nope. My room is like a black hole. It's there 1 minute and gone the next. Okay, let's do this again. I still have my glue dot here. So I'm going to put that down there. Come on. There we go. I'm going to bring these back up. Now I'm going to tape them to the back. And you can play with that for placement, how you want it. I like that. You can run a little bead of glue under here too if you want it to be held down. I'll cut off the excess here. Okay, so now I need some dimensionals to pop this up because of the depth of the braided ribbon. Everything is sticking to me. Take these off as I go. I use a lot of dimensionals. So it's funny, I was making this, not funny, haha, but I was making this cards and I was sitting here thinking, you know, one of the things as we all get a little older and making Mother and Father's Day card, we go from sending them to our parents that are no longer with us to our children and friends that are parents. Grabbed an extra one there. That's all right, we'll keep it. Oop. My glue dot is not holding. Come on. Okay, so now I'm gonna put that down right on the front of this card. And then my sentiment, I'm going to keep pulling out my bowl here that has those many message mates. So when I did this one, I pulled out this shape and it went flying. And I decided to use You Are Lovely from this art gallery set. Man, my little necklace does not want to stay today, does it? Let me grab another glue dot. Where are they at? I may have pulled it a little too tight. Okay. There we go. And I'm probably showing my age here, but one of the things also when I saw this set, and then on the inside I just stamped the same inside flowers from this art gallery set, and I thought that's a beautiful card. It can go to a friend, it could be for Mother's Day. So I have my Mother's Day cards and my Father's Day cards. But one of the things, I don't know why, but when I saw this set and I saw this little bow, it made me think of Cupid dolls. I remember when my one grandson, Julian, was born, I said, he looks like a Cupid doll. And my daughter-in-law didn't know what that was. And then somebody else said the same thing. And so I thought, I was just doodling. Wouldn't it be cute to make a card front and draw a little Cupid doll face and have a bow on it? That's simply a 2-inch punch and some doodling. Just real quick, fast doodling, nothing fancy, but I think it's so cute. So there's a lot of other uses for this stamp set and different things that you can do with it in the catalog. I love this one with the suspenders. I didn't get the opportunity to do that yet, but we'll do that at a later date. But I even love my little Cupid doll. So those are my cards this evening. I hope you enjoyed them. Remember, this is the Handsomely Suited set. And then also I brought in the art gallery with the 2 different designer series paper. So I hope you enjoyed those this evening. I always enjoy our time together, so I really appreciate you joining me. Have a great rest of your evening, and I hope to see you next week. Bye-bye.